5 proven strategies to handle stressful situations at work. Stress at work typically comes from workload, time, lack of control, unclear roles, communication, coworkers, lack of work-life balance, lack of recognition. There's so many different things that can contribute to this success. So I have 5 different things that breaks down each different kind of aspect or contributor to stress. With the first one being prioritize and organize. And this specifically attacks the stress from workload, time, and work-life balance. So when you are prioritizing and organizing, you want to focus on breaking down tasks into more manageable loads. So for me, when I do my email marketing for the week, I'm not like, all right, I'm gonna send out 800 emails this week. I break it down day by day. I understand when I'm gonna send my new ones out, when I'm gonna send my follow-ups, and it makes it a lot easier for me to break down that task so I can hit my 800 every week. On top of that, if you were to do in the tech world, you do the 2-week sprints where they have a certain amount of tasks or code they need to write. They don't just be like, okay, I'm gonna do this in my 2 weeks. They typically break down how many points they're gonna do each day so they can do that over their 2 weeks and accomplish what they need. On top of that, something that you can use, a little tool, not that you need to write this out, but the Eisenhower matrix, have you ever thought about this? Because truly, very few things are truly urgent in a business. There are some things, if you can't accept money, that's truly urgent because that would be a problem. So if you can break down your tasks, okay, what's urgent and what is very important for me to accomplish today, and start on that first. So for me, it's sending out my new emails. Sure, follow-ups are important, but I would argue that the new emails are the most important to kind of expand my reach. So that's why I think, okay, that's urgent and important, so I should do that first today. And then also when you're prioritizing and organizing, it can be really helpful to set realistic deadlines. I've run into this before where I try to accomplish way too much in a day, and then I feel like shit at the end of the day, even though I accomplished so much. So setting realistic deadlines, obviously push yourself, but set those realistic deadlines so you're able to accomplish the things you set out to do and uphold your word to those higher up for you or your customers, whatever that may be. The second one attacks lack of control, communication, and coworkers, but you can kind of use this universally for stress, and that's simply breathing. I like to use the square breathing technique when I get stressed out with something, and so again, that's 4-second inhale, 4-second hold, 4-second exhale, another 4-second hold. It's been proven to lower the heart rate, and that's gonna be the goal. You wanna lower your heart rate in these stressful situations so you can respond better, and then you can also understand and make sure you make the right decision when it comes to these stressful situations. So I like to use square breathing. On top of this, you can use mindfulness. If you need a little break just to bring yourself back to the present, if you are only thinking about a mistake you made or you're only thinking about this meeting come up, try mindfulness. And what you can do is you can just sit down, do an object scan. I like to just look around my room and look at all the objects, and it brings me really to the present moment and gets me ready for what I'm about to do, or helps me forget the mistake I just made. Now on top of that, I like to visualize success. If I'm about to get on a call with a client or a sales call, whatever it may be, visualizing that call or that meeting going well. So you can apply this if you have a confrontational thing you need to handle, whether it's talking to a coworker, whether it's talking to your manager, whether you have a meeting or you have a big presentation, or sales calls like I do, or coaching calls, whatever it may be. Visualizing success can help you achieve that success and feel a lot better going into this stuff. The third piece improves communication and coworkers and job roles, and that's simply to improve communication. The way you can go about this is setting clear expectations with your managers and your coworkers. That being, what are your work hours? Now obviously you got to agree with what you have, but for me, for example, since I work from home the majority of the time with my coaching clients, I have to set clear boundaries. Okay, this is what I'm going to be on. This is what I'm going to respond to you. I'll respond to you within 24 hours, whatever that may be. But I have to have those clear expectations so then I'm withholding them myself and I feel good about where I'm at, and they understand what they can expect from me. So sometimes in our company, sometimes there's not expectations, so we've had to start working on setting expectations. When are you working? When are you going to accomplish this? And it's helped streamline everything so much better. So communicating that will also, if you communicate your work responsibilities, hey, this is with what's within my role, I'm going to do this. And obviously if you want to move up, you're going to have to take on extra tasks and do extra things, or if you're a business owner, you're going to have to do extra things. But it's generally good to probably say and communicate, these are my responsibilities, this is what I'm going to stick to. On top of that, with conflict, with communication, to fix the conflict early and often. Conflict is good, but if you let it just kind of linger and you don't ever fix it, it can lead to passive aggressiveness and not direct communication, which then wastes time and hurts the business and loses money in the long run. So you want to fix the conflict early and often. If something is going on, have direct communication. Hey, I've noticed this. How can I do better? And then also with you, I think that what can I do to help you? And so fixing that conflict early will help your company, or help just your relationship with your coworkers, or help your manager. When I was working at Costco, I mean, I still do, but early on when I was working at Costco, my day job, I had to communicate to a manager. They were talking about my back. I said, hey, I'd rather you just tell me what I'm doing wrong so I can improve. And that confrontation was uncomfortable for both parties, but it improved our communication, improved our relationship, and probably made more money because then there's not this backdoor talk where instead of we're just direct and the problem gets fixed right away. So fixing conflict is very powerful. And also learn to say no in your communication. Like I said earlier, when you have those job responsibilities, when you have your workload, if you have a family that's really important to you, or you are getting thrown workload stuff that's not a part of your responsibility, learn to say no. The fourth piece is to focus on solutions, not problems. It can be really difficult to deal with stress when you're only thinking about the problem or your mess up. Maybe you messed up in a meeting, maybe you messed up in a sales call, maybe you said the wrong thing, whatever. If you only think about that problem, it can be hard to get over. So what I encourage you to do is actually think about challenges as opportunities. If you have to present in front of the whole team in a meeting, that can seem like a big challenge, but it's also an opportunity for you to prove yourself and give yourself an opportunity to move up by killing that presentation. Same thing with a sales call. In the past, I'd be like, oh my gosh, like I'm scared to get on the sales call. This is like a problem. But really, it's an opportunity for me to create a relationship with someone new and potentially help them out if they join my coaching program. So focusing it on opportunities instead of challenges can be a helpful reframe and actually gets you excited for the opportunity ahead of you. And on top of that, with focusing on solutions, not problems, is you want to avoid perfectionism. This is a huge problem for me in the past. I would always think about what I was doing wrong. Whether I got a 99% on my test in college, whatever, I would only be focusing on the 1%. So instead of doing that, you have to ask yourself the question, what are you doing right? One of my favorite things to do at the end of the day is I journal, and I have 3 questions. What did I do right? What do I need to improve on? And what advice would my 80-year-old self gives me? That gives me a really good frame for me to feel good about what I did great on, understand what I need to improve on for tomorrow so I can get better, and then also a frame that helps me think on a longer time horizon by asking myself, what would my 80-year-old self tell me? Because he knows what I want, he knows me completely, and he has my best interests at heart. So that way he can give me the best advice. And I have found this frame to be really helpful because it pulls me out of my current situation, takes away the emotions, and gives me a more objective view on what I should do. The fifth and the final piece is simply self-care and work-life balance. Now, when I say work-life balance, I don't mean everybody should work 40 hours a week. I mean that if you want to build a business, you might have to work 100 hours a week, and that's your season of work. Also, if you have a family, you might only want to work 10 to 20 hours. Either opportunity is great. You just have to find what works for you. I'm not this big rah-rah, yeah, everybody needs work-life balance. It's you need to find what work-life balance works best for you and what your goals are. So you have to ask yourself the question, what's important to me? What are you optimizing for? And so with that being said, I would also encourage you with the self-care aspect to try quiet time. Quiet time can really help you understand what's important to you. Recently, I just burnt out, and so this quiet time has been really helpful for me. I like to do it on my drives, especially when I'm driving. I just like to have nothing playing. I'm just able to think and just compartmentalize everything that's kind of happened throughout my day and understand what's important to me on a longer time horizon. So I like quiet time as a way of self-care. On top of that, fitness is huge for me. It's another great thinking thing for me. After I do a hard set, sometimes I get my best thoughts possible. On top of that, sleep. Sleep is huge. It's so underrated still. I'm a huge proponent of getting 8 hours. I think you're just more effective, and I'm the biggest fan of sleep. You'll probably know. So with that being said, self-care and work-life balance are probably the fifth and one of the most important pieces with this. Again, you might be in a season working 10 to 20 hours because you have a new family, or you might be in a season of working 80 hours because you're building a business. It's just defining what's important to you and what you want to do to optimize for the goals that you want. So that's 5 proven strategies to handle stressful situations at work. If you like this video, please comment and I'll make more of them.